Hello YouTube and hello, welcome to new ESO players, and I emphasize that point because these kind of top tips, if you like, or things I wish I knew, are targeted directly at new players. So anybody else will know a lot of these things already, but if you've just started playing the game or you've just picked up the game, these little things might be useful for you. So without further ado, let me get into this for you. So there are a number of different things that you want to be doing on a daily. Every time you log in, there are daily things you can do to achieve extra gold, additional EXP, to help you kind of just progress a little bit quicker. And again, these are things that I didn't always know from level 1, that I wish I knew. Straight away, first thing you'll see on here, there is a crafting writs kind of board, if you like. When you go into this, each day you can collect writs for blacksmith, clothing, and woodworking. When you collect those, you just make the items that they're asking you for, quite simple, and then you drop them off and deposit those at the quartermaster. You'll be rewarded with a number of different items, plus also quite a considerable amount of gold considering your level and where you're at in the game currently. So once you've done crafting writs, there's other little bits you need to focus on. On the map here, whichever area you're in, you'll have these things somewhere. You've just got to find them. In this area here, there will always be a stable master, and you want to pay them a visit once every 20 hours, if possible. And that will allow you to upgrade one of your stats on that particular mount for either maybe your stamina, your speed, or the storage capacity. So you want to be doing that on a daily basis as well. Next thing that you want to be aware of, on here, if you press P on the PC, what you'll find is that there are dungeons and battlegrounds. So these are PvE dungeons and then PvP battlegrounds. When you click random battleground on here, you can see the XP that's available. And I've done my dungeon today already, and I want to just show you the difference. So if I'm doing now, after doing my first daily dungeon, I've got a dungeon available which will reward me with 27,000 XP. That's the normal amount for that. When you do your first one of the day here, you'll see that available XP is 82. So this is 3 to 4 times more than the usual amount. So you're going to want to do these again once every day to give you that XP boost and help you fly through those early levels. Next up, you've got the research side of things, and I don't want to get into too much detail here other than to say to you that on each of your kind of stations, if you like, your crafting stations, there is a research button available here, and all you want to make sure is that you're always researching something. This comes from your colored items. When you look at it, you can see the effect that that trait would have, and you're learning that trait. So that if you decide at a later date that you now want to craft axes, when you craft that axe, anything that you've currently learned as a trait, you could add onto that weapon that you're now making. It might not be something that you want to do immediately, but I would encourage you just to ensure that you're always researching something whenever you're logged in. So just double check that just to make sure. And again, like I said, I don't want to go into a huge amount of detail here. There are some fantastic ESO guides out there that have got the length and the depth in them that some people might like. This is just purely a kind of 10 minutes of my time, stuff that I wish I knew when I started playing 4 weeks ago. I've absolutely loved the game. We're up to level 46 now. We're almost 50, and it's just these simple little things. The game is so vast that it's easy to get lost, and I think in the beginning you want just a little bit of direction just to kind of get you started and making sure you are maximizing. And this is without me kind of ruining too much of the game or any of the game for you at all. It's just things that everybody else knows that as a new player it will definitely be handy for you to know. So before I go on to kind of just basic build stuff, I wanted to show you one silly thing which absolutely blew my mind. If this benefits one other person, it's worth every minute of this video. But what I will say is that there'll be people out there that will laugh at me when I say this, and there'll be people out there that will go, oh shit, yeah. And here's why. So at the moment, when you're looking at the vast map here, this is the areas. You can go to various different areas, and again, I won't get into too much detail, but essentially, when you just kind of map, and you're anywhere in the world, and you want to travel to one of the way shrines, anywhere on the map, if you're just trying to travel there from somewhere in the world, it's going to cost you gold. And that gold, you don't have that to throw around, especially in those early kind of first 25, 30 levels. You're not going to have gold that you're going to want to throw away at just traveling. So me being me, a little bit of a simple gamer, what I did was I ran everywhere because I didn't want to spend my gold. You know, I'm a bit tight like that. So I ran everywhere around the map. Well, it wasn't until a few levels in that somebody pointed out to me that if you travel to or just go to a way shrine anywhere in a map and then access that way shrine, from here you can then travel to any other way shrine on the map, wherever it might be, and you can do it for free. I know, right? Absolutely fantastic stuff. Okay, so then moving swiftly on, and again, I don't want to keep this short and sweet as possible, but just enough to get you started. When you're looking at starting the game, there are so many different variations of so many different builds of what you can do. You can do anything, and it's not kind of limited to what you chose at the beginning. You can dip in and out of different parts of builds. These are all the different items that you can spend your skill points on, that you can level up to give you different actions or different passives to build your character, to build the character the way you want to play. Now, this is, again, my personal experience. I didn't want to use a build guide as such. It wasn't for me because I wanted to kind of get in and learn the game, understand the game, and not just select actions and spells because they were recommended to me by a guide. I wanted to rather use my knowledge of kind of reading it, finding out about it, and seeing how these things would craft a little bit, or kind of theory craft it myself, and how they would link up these different spells within the build. So if you're like me, what I did, because obviously you still want or need a little bit of direction, and the game offers you that without going too deep into it for you. So if you want to kind of skeleton structure to your build to get you started, on this bit here, Skills Advisor, all I did, I went into Advisor Settings. Now, based on your current setup, whatever the things you chose initially, it'll give you a few options here. I've got Nightblade, and all I did was I read through these options, and I got to one that I like the sound of, believe it or not. So, blindside your enemies with a flurry of poisonous strikes, then disappear without a trace. And I thought that sounds decent. The roll is damage, the primary stat is stamina, and my primary armor there is medium. So it gives me those, right, I'm a damage build, stamina build with medium armor. Okay, when you select that, what the advisor list then does is just gives you a few abilities along the way to say, hey, based on what you told us that you like, your sort of style you want to play, we think these might be suitable for you. So that if you get stuck and you think I need to add something into this build, you could maybe look here first and go from there. I think you guys, yeah, you can see all that on the stream as well there. So that's just for me personally. I didn't want to kind of just have a build guide. I wanted to learn the game. There is so much to it that it deserves at least for me to look into it and read and understand these different things. Then finally, I think the last point that I'm going to make for this short video is just to discuss very quickly about the inventory and the management of said inventory. Now, there are two options to this game. When you first start, you can become a monthly subscriber to ESO. That'll cost you X amount of pounds, I'm not sure, but it'll cost you a little bit each month, but it'll give you a crafting bag, extra space, and a shed load of other bits that I'm not going to get into. But if you don't have that, and I don't currently, because I want to make sure that I enjoy the game enough that it warrants it. And at the moment, I don't use ESO Plus, so I'm having to manage my inventory very, very strict. So I'll give you the tips in terms of what I've done. How I play it, how I manage my inventory. It might not be right. There'll be people out there that will tell you different versions of it. This is just my way, and I've just gone through this, what you're about to go through. I've just gone through it. Level 46, I've had to learn as we go with this, and I want to show you. So in your bag space here, you can see you can upgrade bag and inventory space and also bank space as well. But some of the clear things to be, just to get out there straight away. There's things you're going to collect that you may not use. I know there's things I've collected that I don't use for 47 levels, 46 levels. I've never used them. But at the start, I was holding on to everything crafting because I just thought I should, and I wasn't sure what I would need and what I didn't need. You need to understand from the beginning whether this character or this build is going to do crafting, for example. Are they going to do alchemy or enchantments? And if your answer to some of those is no, then this becomes a little bit easier. Because when you're looking at some of this stuff, like, for example, I'll show you this as an example, carrots. I don't craft food. So I never, ever keep this stuff in here. I will sell or ditch this stuff completely, get rid of it. I do, however, hold on to some of the crafting, your more basic crafting material, raw materials. I try to keep as many of those as possible because that will go in the bank. When you look at your bank space, or I'll show you my bank space here, So in my bank, I don't have, if I look at what I could withdraw, right? I don't have any weapons, no apparel, no jewelry, no consumables in my bank. It's all materials, okay? And these are things that will just allow me to craft in certain traits, or it will allow me to craft certain things, or to a certain level, or to upgrade it. But I know that they'll come in handy later on down the line. And don't forget, your bank space is shared between all of your characters as well. So when it is shared, you don't know that second character that you're building, that's going to be your crafting character. So then you're going to appreciate all of this stuff. But I'm still convinced at the moment that I'm not going to be crafting any furniture, and I'm not going to be crafting any food, so I ditch those from the off. I don't hold on to any of that sort of stuff. And that kind of rule just goes for whatever you decide you're doing, anything else that you're not using. If you don't use something for the first 10 levels, well, then why are you holding on to it? You need to be quite brutal with your storage. I'm maxed out on my bank space, and it's all materials, and I know I've got some stuff in there that I need to get rid of. But that's the game that we play when you don't have the ESO Plus. You have to be a bit more strict. And all I'll do is once I've done my dailies and I've gone through and done some dungeons and I've got some gear here, I sell anything that's kind of white, but anything that is colored blue, green, I will try to research, or I will deconstruct it for additional crafting kind of points, if you like, as well on the level up. And that's kind of it. That's my little introduction into the game. If you are a new player and you're getting into ESO, honestly, there couldn't be a better time for you to do this, because the game is just getting bigger and better all the time. The recent addition of Greymoor, the Skyrim update, if you like, has gone down an absolute treat. And there's so much to this game that you just there's hours and hours here that any penny spent in this game will be worthwhile. We've got the you can find, like I said, my name is LilPots86, and I stream on Twitch as a low-level amateur streamer with a few friends, but we're very welcoming, and we want to kind of help and teach and support people to play through this game exactly how people have supported me through these first 46 levels. So I want to be able to repay that a little bit. And if you kind of like what you're hearing or seeing in this particular video, we'd love to see you in the stream at some point, and I'll put that on the bottom of the description there for you as well. And that is it. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. All the best.